Welcome back to Show Me What I've Been Missing, your pop culture podcast that catches you up on the past. Oh, that's actually a really good tagline. We should keep that. I'm one of your hosts, Elizabeth Stanton, and I'm here with my
Yo,
other host.
Chris Mack, what's going on?
Yeah, so we took
First
a
of all,
little.
I want to say before we even get started, I'm happy to see your face again. I feel like it's
I
been a while. We
know!
haven't recorded and we've barely seen each other since then. So I just want to say
Yeah,
it's happy to be back recording one
it
more
is
time.
lovely to see too. By the way, if you're watching the video, I've mentioned off mic that I love the curtains behind you, but now I need to put on record. If you could kindly ask them where they got those, I would love to know.
I sure will. Oh yeah, these are cat curtains too, by the way.
Yes,
I don't know
they're
if you can
cat
tell. Those
curtains,
are
which is why I
little
want them
kitties.
so bad. They're very, very
Little
cute.
kitty curtains. Yes, they
But
are.
yeah, we took a our usual like break after we get through a chunk of episodes and do a couple
Yes.
movies. But now we're
Yes.
back. Uh,
Yes.
back again. Shady's
Season
back. Tell a
two.
friend.
Yes. Season 2, episode
12.
12.
Le
We're almost
Douleur
wrapping up.
Exquise.
Yes, the sweets. What is it? What was it?
The exquisite
The del
pain. Right? I wrote it down, I thought.
exquisite pain. Yes,
Yes,
that's
the
what it
exquisite
translates
pain.
to. Yes, the exquisite pain. That's exactly it. Yes. So this is a very interesting episode because it's based around fetishes, the whole thing,
Yeah,
but
kink,
not exactly.
kinks.
Yeah, but not in the classical sense of fetish. I mean,
Yes.
yes, some of that was included, but there was also kind of a more cerebral approach to the word fetish, which we'll get into later. So who do we want to cover first? Because I guess we can talk Samantha because really nothing happened
Yeah,
to
she
her.
didn't do much.
She didn't really have much of an episode, so I guess we really don't have much to talk
Yeah,
about.
she hosted the restaurant with
Yeah,
the S&M theme. She looked hot
uh,
in
but,
her little S&M outfit.
which is cute. She's super cute.
Yeah.
By the way, S&M themed restaurant? No, thank you.
Yeah,
No,
not
thank you.
it's a pass for me, but again, if you're into it, shine on you, crazy diamond. I don't care.
Here's the thing. I feel like even if you are into S&M, do you want to eat around it? I feel like that's not a really environment
It's
for food.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like a slightly unsanitary feeling situation with the waiter and just the like
Yeah,
bondage gear. I actually
right.
the one place it was here, Hamburger Mary's, that does like drag bingo and other fun drag stuff. I went
That's different.
there. Yeah, but the one waiter I had was only in like it was around Halloween, so he was in like a bumblebee costume, but it really was like just a top and basically some undies. And it was a little like and he's clean. I'm not, but it's
No, no,
just
no, no. It's just
it's just
yeah. No, not at all. No kink shame here. Like, listen, your fetish is your fetish as long as you're not like a pedophile or a rapist. Hey, you know what?
yeah,
Do your thing. But it's just I don't know. I don't know. As a person, I guess that's not into S and M looking at it on the outside looking
hmm
in, I just don't feel like I would want to like eat a T-bone steak next to somebody in fucking crotchless underwear. That's just not.
yeah,
That's not my jam. Not my
yeah.
jam. You know what I
And
mean?
also, it's a slight from what I've read. Like after like 50 Shades of Grey came out and stuff, there's a lot of discussion about what real S&M is, and
Okay.
those kind of like restaurants and things like that are a bit of a misunderstanding of what it
Sure.
is. It is generally a behind closed doors thing, and it's very
Right.
heavy on consent, which is why people were so frustrated with
Absolutely.
50 Shades of Grey, because
Absolutely.
very little of 50 Shades actually covered the consent part. Like, yes, there was the contract, but it was still very
Right.
not on the up and up with like what the
Yeah.
true nature of those relationships are meant to be. For,
Absolutely.
but so yeah, so it is sort of like the bondage and S&M gear is like almost like a costume cosplay thing when they do it at like
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
restaurant.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not the real, you know,
Right. Yeah. Well, I will say this though.
the real thing.
That restaurant is I think would be a perfect place to like take somebody if you're trying to break up with them.
But then they have the best story because they're like, I got dumped at an S&M restaurant.
Exactly. And they can't even really be mad. They'd be like, that's a story they get to tell forever. Because like, how can you top that breakup?
Yeah.
The only thing that you do like to top that is like, oh, he murdered me. That's the only way. He broke up with me by stabbing me. That's why. So yeah, I was thinking about that. I was like, I'm not into that restaurant, but I definitely would use that to like solidify a breakup. Like, hey, listen, because if she, if now, and that's what they do. It'd be scary because like if you bring somebody there to break up with them, they're like into it. Now you gotta,
Yeah.
you gotta figure out some weird other shit.
But yeah, that's kind of the last we see of Samantha. Oh, she pops up at the one brunch, but other than that,
Yeah, but even at the brunch, she
there's
doesn't
no
say
plot.
much.
She just kind of
Surprisingly,
says some
yeah.
stuff, and this is why they do her so dirty sometimes.
I know. Because she's the coolest character. That's why they're like, she's
Because
the
they
least
can't
toxic. We
handle it.
gotta keep her out of here. She's not as toxic as these other broads. We gotta keep her on the side. So let's talk Charlotte.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
first.
speaking of toxic, let's talk Charlotte. First of all, I wrote this down. I think you'll appreciate it when she shows up at the club.
Please.
And she's told the dress code was kinky, and she's like, I kinked my hair, and they're like, oh, get in there. I was like, bitch, you are the kinkiest fucking one in this group. The amount of shit you've done compared to everybody else, you are
real talk.
You know, freak of the week, baby. Like that's your thing, and you're like, I'm not into S&M and whatnot. I'm like, you were down to try a threesome. You
right.
Oh God, what else did you hooked up in the bride's hotel room with the one guy, and you found the guy at the funeral? Like, girl, you are the kinkiest one here.
Yeah, for real, she did. She picked up a guy at a funeral. And then she's over here judging that shit. Like, I think you think you misplaced judgment here, my friend. That's true. She is, because like, I mean, I think the only person that maybe could rival her is Samantha, because her sex life
right,
is a
but
little
at
bit
least
wilder,
Samantha's honest about it.
That's true. That's the difference. It's like Charlotte's still trying to pretend that she's like this little wholesome like girl next door person. It's like you're not.
And her little
also,
pink
you
outfits
can't.
all episode.
Yeah.
She's in pink.
If you were girl next door, you wouldn't live in Manhattan. That's the first thing. That's not a girl next door city. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Your boundaries are gonna get pushed all the time because you're gonna meet every guy that you date or everybody you meet is like a different person. You're gonna meet a wide variety of people. So like, stop with the girl next door act. You live in Manhattan, one of the most like metropolitan cities in the U.S.
And a girl next door wouldn't take free shoes from the shoe salesman.
Hell no, not for what he wanted for him. That's for sure. Although I will say this, he was actually not like he was kind of gross, but not creepy. Does that?
Yeah, he was weirdly consensual. He wasn't like forcing the shoes on her, and it was like he was offering. But like, I think if she had and he pushed a little when she said no, but she caved pretty easy.
Right.
But I think
also, but even though he pushed, it wasn't like an
aggressive.
Yeah. He was just like, "Are you sure?
Are you sure?"
Yeah.
That's really. I always laugh because that actor is James Urbaniak, who was from the Venture Brothers show on Adult Swim, which I loved. Loved in college, so it's always weird to hear him. That's because this is one that they actually play, as I've said many times, but this is one they play on basic cable a lot because it's surprisingly clean for an episode.
Yeah,
about kink, even with Will Arnett, which we will get to.
Yes. Well, because like, I mean, like,
but they don't show a lot, you know.
No. Although I will say, there is one thing I know that they probably for sure cut out in basic cable, because like when they're at the S&M themed restaurant and while Samantha's like talking about the whole thing, they're all at the table.
Yeah.
They kept cutting to Carrie, and like in the back of I don't. It was like I couldn't not notice it. Like in the back corner of her right shoulder, there's just a woman with her tits out.
Oh,
just, like,
I didn't know.
Staring
I think
at
they
the table.
Blur it.
Yeah, they probably blur. I don't know if she was.
I didn't notice
extra because she was looking dead at the table. Like she was not just. She didn't look like just like a patron of the restaurant. Right. She was looking dead at the table, like into the camera. I was like, I think that person got fired because she's the worst extra ever. Just tits out, staring directly into the camera.
But yeah, so Charlotte gets her free shoes for letting the guy rub up on her feet.
Which, by the way, I have a question now because.
Is it about does every woman love shoes and have a shoe?
No.
The answer for me, I do have to get off my chest. The answer for me is no. I have big fucking feet for a girl, so my life is fucking hell when it comes to shoe shopping. And so I don't have like I love shoes. I just want to collect shoes. I'm like, I need some utilitarian shoes, please. Thank you. I have size
No,
11
but
feet.
my question was gonna ask like, okay, like something that you are like obsessed with, like whatever your thing
Mm-hmm.
is, with comic books, fucking computers, whatever. Like, if okay, let's say your obsession is comic books, and a guy at the store was like, "Hey, I'll give you this free exclusive like rare
Mm-hmm.
comic, if you just let me rub your hands." Would you do it?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't had like a situation like that. I don't think. I don't
Well,
think
here's the
I've
thing.
ever
It probably more
gotten.
likely happened.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, I was gonna say, well, I was gonna say the shoe thing, but I was like, you might want to be wary of the shoes because if you got big feet, some men are very much into
Oh,
big
I know.
feet. So
I
the shoe
always
thing
joke.
could easily happen to you. Easily, you could be Charlotte.
I
Easily.
always joke that I'd do great in a Tarantino movie because I got such big feet. He'd be so excited.
Oh my god, he probably have like just a private. He just write a scene in there where it's just like
Yeah,
just
I
your
know.
feet for like 20 minutes
Dude,
and then
he
cut
that's
it
what he
and take it.
did for well, so many of his movies, but like people point out Once Upon a Time in Hollywood when Sharon Tate, Margot Robbie, Sharon Tate goes to the movies and she
Yeah,
has her bare feet up on the seat in front of her in a fucking movie theater. I'm sorry, I don't think she would ever. She was a very
I'd be
like
pissed. I'd be fucking pissed.
and she was like a
I,
classy lady, for lack of a
she
better
might have.
term. She would
Yeah,
not have
she
put her
might have.
bare no, she would never have put her
I
bare
hope
feet
not, because if I
up
was
on a
that patron,
seat.
I'd be like, "Bitch, what is wrong with you? Get
Yeah.
your nasty ass feet off my fucking chair."
And then and then there
How
was
dare
one
you?
one other scene in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood where the one like really pretty Manson girl that kind of lures Brad Pitt to the ranch, she like just fucking like jams her foot on the windshield and it's like not even subtle. Like like you could argue in previous films he was a little more subtle. Like yes, there were shots of feet, but they were like in motion to a goal or this, that, or the other thing.
Yeah,
This was
right.
purely like, okay, we get it then.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. I mean,
I
at
bet
this
the shoe
point, he kind
salesman
of
loves Tarantino
loved that.
movies.
Oh, he probably, yeah, he's super. He's like just like Uma. He probably has like Uma Thurman's walkthrough on Pulp
Yeah.
Fiction just on a replay
He's
every
like,
day.
give that man an Oscar.
Well, that's the thing too. Like for Tarantino, in a sense of like that, like everybody's kind of knows he has a foot fetish, so you might as well just like steer right into it. Because trying to
Mm-hmm.
avoid it now that everybody knows that that's your thing,
Right.
it
Yeah, we
would be
might as well.
pointless. I mean, it'd
Yeah.
be yeah. It also probably make you look a little bit more creepy if you're trying to hide the shit.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Because this dude, that's what I'm saying. Because actually, I feel like which we're about to get into, I feel like Will Arnett's character was a little more creepier than the shoe
Yeah.
salesman guy. Because at least the shoe salesman guy had some respect. It was like classy. Like he wasn't creepy. He didn't like try to put
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte's feet like in his mouth or something.
Yeah,
Like
and
he
he
was very
didn't.
respectful.
And like, yes, it was like broad daylight, but that's almost better because it didn't. It wasn't like he had to like hide it away
Yeah.
and be creepy and like secretive about it.
Right.
And I'm just impressed he got his dream job though. Clearly, like, good for him. We
Hey, he's
all
living
should
the
dream.
American dream, baby. He's like,
If,
I got a foot fetish and I work at a shoe store. What more do you want?
but I do worry he'll get fired because he kept giving out free shoes. Like that feels like a real, real dangerous line to cross.
That's a fantastic point. That is
That's
true.
a high-end shoe store, man.
He,
If they're
yeah, he gave her
$400
$500.
shoes,
He gave her $500 shoes for free.
yeah.
That's definitely a fireable offense. You're absolutely right. But I imagine
Unless
though,
he's buying
I
them
think that's what he's doing.
himself,
I feel like
yeah.
that's what he's doing. Like he's probably paying for the shoes and then giving them to her and
Yeah.
then rubbing her feet. So
What
also
a system.
too, gotta get. Hey, listen, gotta give the man credit. He must be somewhat good at his job because he's making enough money to pay for $500 shoes to give to random girls just to touch their feet. So
Yeah.
very expensive hobby, sir.
But I'm assuming Charlotte never goes back to that shoe store because she seems pretty put off by the final like shoe try on moment where he like basically came right there in front of her.
He didn't basically. He came. It wasn't. There was no basic about it. He came. He showed it through his whole body and audible sounds that were coming out. He was like, "Yeah, I just came. You're welcome." But again, though, I don't know. For me, especially, I feel like if there was a reverse thing, if it wasn't Charlotte, but if it was Carrie, Carrie would be fine with this because Carrie loves shoes way much more than Charlotte
Yeah,
does.
well, when Charlotte was kind of finally admitting like what was happening, Carrie's
Yeah,
like, "Where is this shoe store?"
yeah. She was like, "Fuck it. If you're not gonna take advantage of this, bitch, I will." Like, you
Yeah,
get
be
five
like,
hundred
"Out of my
dollars
way."
shoes for free. Yo, that's real talk though. Like, if
Yeah.
somebody was just like, dude, if I had like fucking a Jordan obsession and some dude
Yeah.
was like, or some dude was like, hey, let me see your feet and you can have these free Jordans, I'd be like, gotcha. No sweat off my sack. And it's not like he was like, let me do it for hours. It was like a few
Just
seconds. He
brief,
gets
yeah.
off and then you leave. Very brief, 30
Yeah.
seconds of your time. You get a new pair of awesome shoes. Forget about it. I'm there. So now we get to
Miranda and Will Arnett.
Miranda. Yes. First of all, Will Arnett, love him so much. Love him so much.
I completely forgot he was in this episode. I've definitely seen it, like I said, a bunch of times on like TV. And every time I'm like, Will Arnett, like I forget that this is the episode with him in it. They're illusions, Michael.
Bad for him though, because
Tricks are what whores do for money or candy.
I feel like I feel bad for Will Arnett though, because I feel like a lot of his acting roles, he's always like a scumbag guy. Like, why they always make him be a scumbag guy? You know what I mean? Because even before he got the TV and shit like that, he used to do the insurance commercials, like Mayhem guy. He was like him.
Oh, he's not the Mayhem guy,
but like a creepy mate. No, it's not. No, he's not. But I'm saying he did commercials
like
that.
Different.
But he was always like this
thing.
It's like, yeah, like this, but he was like a sketchy. He played like the sketchy, bad insurance guy in the commercial. It's like, why they always making my man Will Arnett be like the sketchy dude? Like,
I think it's the voice he can do with it's got that like kind of raspy really growl thing. And he can look a little seedy if you do him right. You know, like depends how you style him.
It just sucks because I feel like if you meet him in real life, he's probably like the sweetest, kindest, like most.
I feel like I've heard nothing but good stuff.
Yeah, it's like, but they always got to pay these fucking creep dudes, man. Like, that's so weird.
Yeah,
so
I'm like, that's Lego Batman.
He was a good Batman, though.
He was like a great Batman, actually.
He was a great Batman. Yeah,
really loved that Batman movie.
Yeah, I like that. I like that shit. That was fucking good.
But yeah, he's a freak. He only likes having sex with Miranda in public where they can get caught.
Yes.
Or almost caught. And
not even necessarily public. It's the idea of getting caught. Because you remember, jumping ahead just to make a point, they were gonna have sex in the bed in privacy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Parents were home, and he like left the door open and like basically welcomed them to come in.
Yeah, also, they like walked in and he like looked right at his parents and like finished. And it was like, oh my god, sir.
Fuck that. That's what Miranda gets for fucking over Skip. All right, I'm still on it. Still pissed. That's what she gets.
Steve now, because she and Steve broken up.
But she wasn't. But here's the thing with Steve. She didn't fuck that up. He fucked that up.
That's right. I forgot.
He couldn't handle her status as a lawyer.
I'm also slightly thinking ahead. My bad.
No. You're fine. You're fine. At least in the moment of I know, like
that's
he
true.
Fucked that up. She didn't do it yet, but she did fuck over Skip, so she deserves fucking creepy, get caught, motherfucking weirdo guy. All right, that's exactly what you get.
Lego Batman.
Batman.
Miranda, let's go have sex with a cat.
Yo. Okay.
Why are all my best impressions of guys, and so therefore very useless to me?
They're not useless. They're good. You never know. Hey, listen. Like, the voice of Bart Simpson is a woman. All right.
That's true.
Right? So
that's true.
keep that right on the hip pocket. You never know when you might have to throw that thing out of there. Now, can I ask you this?
Yeah.
Let me make sure I find this because I want to make sure I ask this the correct way. Public sex, weird or fun?
I don't know. I'm not. Well, how public is public? Are like other people able to see you doing it,
or just like, I guess, yeah.
I don't know. I'm a little more like, let's keep it behind closed doors. Yeah. One time, I was visiting my dad in Seattle, and we were going to the Space Needle, and we were just, obviously minding our business. And there was some horny couple there that was like one breath away from like getting it on in the Space
Yeah.
Needle, and we were like, oh my, like there's fucking children here, dude.
Yeah.
Like look at this wonder of like 60s architecture, and they're like, oh yeah. We were like, ugh, like we had to like scoot away from them because they were just like way too horny at the Space Needle.
Yeah. Also,
Gross.
like, yeah, like take that somewhere else, man.
Yeah.
Like if here's my thing, if you're like, because like my thing is like, I'm not here to kink shame anybody, but at the same token, I don't want to see that. Like, I don't like
Yeah.
seeing any couple like making out aggressively or like feeling on each other aggressively and
Mm-hmm.
shit like that. It's like, if y'all that horny, just go home. Why y'all gotta be
Yeah.
here?
Yeah.
Also too, and again, no judgment. Like, if you like to be watched, bitch, get a webcam. Don't fucking
That's a good
subject
idea.
me to,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Subject people who want to see you fuck to the
Because
idea of you
it's
fucking.
because I'm not consenting to
I
watching
don't
you.
want to see
I
it.
don't
Yeah.
want that.
In a
I
sense, you're raping my vision by just getting it on in front of
yeah.
me. If I want to see that.
Yeah.
And of course I don't, because I don't even do that. Like, I'm okay with like PDA. We can hold
Yeah.
hands. We
Yeah.
can like a couple of pecks on the cheek or on the face or whatever. But like a full on makeout session, I don't want to see two
Yeah.
tongues going at like hear
I don't
your
want to see
spit sounds and
your
shit.
hands south of the equator in public.
Thank you.
Because
Yes,
that's where things get real. Like whoa, you're like
absolutely.
again a half step away from just like fucking right there, and it's like
Right. Well, it's so weird though because low key, Miranda kind of had a Charlotte moment when it came to this dude because
yeah.
right, he started out all normal. He was like a historian, just like her, like
Yeah.
reading like
The
autobiographical books
the
about
history books.
historic
Yeah. Yeah.
figures. Yeah, and then he was like showing her where Mark Twain lived, and everything seemed so cool. And then the other shoe dropped, and it was like, oh,
Oh,
I like to get caught fucking. Like that's my
that would
thing.
happen to me. I've sadly not. I spend a lot of time in bookstores, or used to.
There's nothing wrong with
Um,
that.
and I want to get picked up at a bookstore. It's never happened to me. It's so upsetting. But then, yeah, I feel like that would be my luck. Would be like, oh, like I like reading
Yeah.
and going fun places, and then they'd be like, guess what? I'm a fucking weirdo. And you're like, no, why?
Now,
Uh,
speaking of just to go off on a small tangent, just for me and you, do you think that people get picked up at bookstores? Because I don't think I've
no,
ever
I
heard that
mean,
story from friends
movies
of
told
like,
me
oh
they
yeah, I met
do.
him at a bookstore. Right, movies and TV shows always seems like somebody has a little meet cute at like at a bookstore, like a little sidewalk book
Yeah,
sale or something like that. But I've yet to hear any story from anybody, male or female, is like, oh, I met them at a
no.
bookstore.
I've had two what I can like classify as like weird encounters. One was at the sadly closed Borders right in Hollywood, that
Okay,
across from the also closed ArcLight now. God damn it. Anyway,
ArcLight closed?
yeah, but it might be being revived.
No.
It's a whole other thing.
I hope
Where
so.
were the
That's
hell
like
were
a
you? Everybody was
that's
losing their shit when that happened.
dude, that's like a historical landmark. Like it
Well, the
can't go
Cinerama
anywhere.
Dome is protected, but the actual ArcLight Theater is
Okay.
closed, but maybe be reopened. Anyway,
Yeah,
I
crazy.
came around a corner in the Borders and like almost bumped into a guy, and we like locked eyes in a very weird, like an intense way for a second, and we're sort of like, did we know each other? And then it just kind of broke, and he went one way, I went the other, but it was very like, oh, like it's just a strange moment.
That's
And then
weird.
I'd say the only other closest moment was it was a employee at the bookstore. I wouldn't say he was flirting, but I was looking at this like selection of like scary books for Halloween, and I was like kind of trying to decide if I wanted one. And he came up and he was like, "Oh, this book is so great." Da-da-da. He had the artwork from the cover tattooed on his forearm. That's how much he thought the book was great.
Oh
And
wow.
so I was like, okay, well, I'll give it a shot. And then I read it and I fucking hated it. And I wanted to go back and be like, your book is stupid, but I didn't, because I'm not that mean. But it was really, I
But
don't know.
it,
I don't know.
damn, it must have if it gave you that kind of fantasy of just going back to tell him how much he was wrong,
Yeah, it
it must
wasn't
have
really
been an awful
romantic.
book.
It wasn't really romantic so much as me being like, no, I need to be proven right. It was. We don't have time to get
So
into
we know the
why.
answer to that. We don't. When people always ask, "Do you want to be right or do you want to be in love?" I see you got the answer.
Yeah. You know what? Someone
I'm with
telling
you
me.
though.
I was gonna
I'm
say
with you though.
someone telling me I'm right is love.
Yeah, I'm with you though. I love being right. It's amazing, especially when you're right.
It was a stupid fucking book.
Okay, so to go back to the whole like Will Arnett's weird fetish
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, I feel like maybe the parents are freaks like that too.
Right. Yeah. Where does that come
Because
from? I don't know.
no, here's why I say that is because okay, right, they're having, Miranda's telling them, the girls, about all the crazy public sex that they had. She's kind of
Hmm.
into it, like,
Hmm.
he went down on her in a taxi cab, which I thought was a little bit kind of hot. I ain't
I
gonna
was
lie, it's
like,
kind
all
of
right,
hot.
sir,
All
all
right,
right.
I ain't mad at you. That was kind of sweet.
This Batman
Yeah,
does.
this is good.
If you recall, as of this recording several weeks ago, there was the controversy that DC said heroes don't go down. I don't know
No,
what prompted DC to say that in the first place. Um, but this
but this one
Batman
does.
does.
This Batman does. He's
Yeah,
like,
because there was like Batman was supposed to like, oh, they cut a scene from the Harley Quinn animated thing on HBO Max where Batman went down on Catwoman, and they were like, oh,
oh,
Batman doesn't eat
oh.
pussy basically, and everyone's like, a real hero does.
To be fair, to be fair, I have to agree. I feel like a
No,
billionaire Bruce Wayne would definitely not go down on the girl. You know what I mean? Like he'd be too
but
proud for that
Batman
shit.
would.
Batman would. Batman would totally, like, if he was in the bat suit and she was in the Catwoman suit, he would. But Bruce Wayne, hell no, he ain't
But
going down there.
there were a bunch of jokes about like which heroes actually would, and then I laughed because now that Ben Affleck and J Lo are back together, and there's like all these paparazzi shots of him like whispering her in her ear. One of them was this Batman does about going down. So that's true. So oh my
I
god,
bet he
we
does. It's
this
J Lo. I would too. I'd be like, yeah, you got it, bro.
this episode proves that this Lego Batman
We'll go down.
will go down.
Absolutely.
All right, that's why he's
Absolutely.
one of the best Batmans.
He really truly was. At least the funniest Batman
Well, yeah.
for that. But but my thing is this is like, again, this is why I think the parents might be into some freaky shit too, because like, why did they come in the room?
Oh,
Like
they heard the
they
sex
hear
noises.
Miranda, yeah, I'm saying
For
they hear the
sure.
sex noises, and they're like, and the mom's like, is everything okay? What do you mean is everything okay? What do you think is happening in there?
Yeah,
And
like
why
you
would you
saw.
come in?
I guess she didn't meet the parents,
No, she didn't meet him. No.
but I mean, I'm sorry. If those are very clearly sex noises, and those parents are like, let's
Right.
fucking go in there. Yeah, yeah.
Right. But here's the thing. I can understand maybe the mom being a little bit concerned and like popping her head in, but both parents showed up and then they stayed. Like they watched him. They watched him
Everybody
finish.
made too much eye contact with everybody.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. I feel like this was like some kind of thing. Like the parents like he told them like, hey, I'm bringing a girl over, and like they were like, cool, we'll come to watch. Like,
You know what? I bet he walked in on them in like a formative time, but they didn't stop either. Like a lot of parents will be like, "Oh no, oh we're playing," or pretending that's not
right.
what it is. And based on how the fact that he kept going, I feel like they were like, "Yeah, that's right, son. It's natural." Like, and just right at that key moment in his development, boom,
Whoa.
kink for
That's, you know what? That is actually not a bad point. Yeah, that's not a bad point, because if you think about it, like you're a kid, you just watched him go at it. Like that probably could like trigger something in your brain that makes you like being caught or something like that. Like maybe like a revenge thing. It's like I caught them and then I caught me.
And now to be fair, not all kinks are formed that way. Sometimes you just like what you like.
No.
You know, because I think a lot of people do kink shame by saying like, oh, something bad happened to you as a child, and that is why you are so obsessed with the thing.
I don't think it was necessarily a bad thing. Like I think everybody's walked in on their parents at one point, but
overheard them,
or overheard them. Yeah, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's only bad if your parents make you feel shame about it.
Right.
Like, if like your parents like, why were you doing that, or like spank you or something like that, then that like, seeks that. I think that puts trauma. Yeah. Right. Yeah, I think that puts trauma, and then now you're like, oh, now you like all shameful of sex. But I don't know. They probably were just like, hey, you can watch, because clearly he's into that, which is so fucking weird. Like, I was like, I'm fine with like having sex in public, as far as that, but like, him locking eyes with his mom and
Yeah,
finishing.
not okay.
No,
Not
sir.
okay.
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. Not at all. Never,
Nope.
never gonna be okay. Like, also too, like, well, like at least from what it seemed like the breakup was pretty clean. Like he wasn't like begging
Yeah.
her to stay or nothing like that. Like I think he kind of knew, like, yeah, this is done.
Yeah, I think, and yeah, he got his jollies, as it were, and was like, "All right, catch you on the flip flop," which is never.
Or, 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 or maybe this, Elizabeth.
Mhm.
Maybe he really wasn't that much into Miranda, and this was like his way of breaking up with her by bringing the folks in. Like maybe he was like, "Mom, in about
Mm.
5 minutes, come into the room, pretending like you don't know what we're doing, so that way we freak her out and she gets the hell up out of here."
Yeah, maybe.
Like maybe he didn't actually finish because if I remember correctly, watching the scene, their clothes weren't even off
That's true.
completely.
That's true.
He still
But
had
she was
like
like
boxers on. She was moaning and stuff, but
moaning.
it seemed like they
Mm,
were just dry humping to at least
that's true.
at the
That's
very
true.
least. You know what I'm saying? So like
Hmm.
maybe it was like some kind of weird, twisted, ingenious plan to break up with Miranda
I hope so.
because that was just weird.
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's get into
now
the big
we get to my
stuff.
favorite people,
Literally.
the big.
Big stuff.
Okay, saying this right off the bat, Big was a fucking asshole in this episode. He
Now
lost so
you
many
get
cool
why
points
people
with me.
hate him so much.
I totally
Yeah.
no. I've been hating him, but
Right.
you know what I'm saying. But like he was winning cool. He was winning cool
Right.
points
He was
back.
making inroads with us for a
He
while,
was. He was
but
making
this
progress. I was like, all
shit.
right, this shit, you can't like. Okay, so for those who didn't watch the episode, which I don't know why,
I don't
because
know
you
why.
should be watching this episode to hear this episode.
Or if you're
But
rusty, if you know the
or if
series
you're
but you're
rusty,
rusty.
yes. Big is going away to Paris, and then he drops casually on Carrie that he might have to move to Paris for a few
At least a
months
year,
or
yeah,
at
or
least a
potentially
year
a year, yeah.
to conduct his business.
Which I love. I
And
don't understand what his goddamn business is. I'm like, what a great vague like businessman thing. Like, I have to go to Paris for work. What do
I'm
you
sorry, yeah,
do?
business. That's what it is. That's it.
Business.
Business.
What's your
He has
business?
a very generic like rom-com job, just like he's a
Yeah.
businessman. But
What's
what
your
kind of
business?
business?
Oh, none of ya.
Business.
That's what it is. It's none of your damn business.
I work a lot with Nunya. What's that? Nunya goddamn business. That's my
Business.
business, motherfucker. So yeah, he just drops casually that he might have to move to Paris while him and Carrie are in this like or at least what she thought was like a real intense like
Yeah.
love affair relationship.
Yeah.
And he's just like all nonchalant about it, and like he's trying to gaslight her and make her seem like she's crazy. But I'm like, no, dude, you're a fucking
Mhm.
asshole.
Mhm.
You're a
Mhm.
dick. You
Yeah.
can't be in an intimate relationship with somebody and then be like, hey, by the way, things are going great, but I might have to leave for a year. And
And
like
not
it'd be
even
different if it was like
discuss
another
like,
state.
yeah.
It didn't discuss it, didn't tell her about it, just dropped it on her, expected her to be like, okay, cool, yeah, I'll see you in like a year.
I'll see you when I see you. Yeah, yeah. No.
Yeah,
Because they've, like, as we pointed out in, like, the last, like, once they got back together this season and, like,
right,
this last string of episodes, there's been a lot of inroads. The last episode was called Evolution. They,
right.
like, we're getting to a good place, basically. And then, yeah, he's
Yes,
just, and I, like, yeah, work is work, and sometimes you have to do things and go
sure,
places, but like you talk to presumably your partner about
right,
what the situation is. Like
absolutely.
if he he says he loves her, but let's be real, he maybe only loves part of her or whatever.
I think he likes the idea of her rather
And
than
like,
the actual person.
yeah,
Yeah,
and so Samantha in her brief moment in the brunch thing says, they don't really men don't really think of we, and I do think that's true for a lot of guys,
that's fair.
and him in particular. He's not thinking of them as like a couple partnership. He is him, she is her, that's it. So he's
Mm-hmm.
only thinking the work thing, but like, and she even came around during the episode going like, what, it is work. It's not a personal thing against me necessarily, at least until she kind of realized
Right,
in some ways it was, but it's,
right.
it is just work. You will have to make long distance work. That happens to people, and that does but you discuss it with the person up front and be like, hey, what's crazy is I think my job is going to make me go live in Paris for
Right.
7 months to a year, you
Right.
know
Yeah, and don't just spring it on. Like, talk
Yeah.
about it. Like, hey, how do you feel about that? What do you think is gonna be for
Yeah.
us? Like, have that discussion. Like, because from what it seemed like, low
Hmm.
key, if she didn't like say anything, he was just
Yeah.
gonna just go
Yeah. He was
and
just
just
gonna
like
be there.
disappear.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just gonna like just be in Paris, and she'd be like, "Where the fuck are you?" Like, "Oh, Paris." Like,
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah. It's
you know,
not far out from that. And then he'd be like, "You're being so
no.
clingy. Why are you asking where I am?" It's like, buddy, you
That's the part that had
disappeared.
me. That's the part that had me like rolling. I was like, he was so like in shock that she was upset by it. It's like,
Yeah.
what's wrong with you, my guy? You're 40 something years old.
Yeah.
You're acting like a 17-year-old kid right now.
Hmm.
Like, that's not a mature thing to do. So he lost a lot of cool points because, like,
Yeah.
there are times where Carrie does freak out on him about things that are like super small. That, like, it's outside influence, like some places she thinks they're just supposed to be because they've
Right.
been
Or
together so
like,
long, or somebody says some comment that makes her feel subconscious of,
hmm,
self-conscious, about like their relationship. But in this case, you're the problem, Biggs.
yeah. Yeah. This is not
You
like
are 100% problem. 1000.
her asking for like some kind of public display of how he feels about her, which
Right.
is a very common thing with
Right.
her. This is
Sure.
like a life altering, relationship altering
Yeah,
change
this
that's
is
being
yeah,
made
this is
without
like
any
yeah.
discussion.
Yeah. Yeah, this is literally a make or break decision as far as like how, if they're going to continue this relationship.
Yeah.
And he basically, I mean, essentially him not telling her, he kind of broke up with her,
Yeah.
if you ask
Now
me,
that
like
was
without
like a
without
low
necessarily breaking
key
up with her.
sneaky way to try to like force her hand in the
Yeah.
breakup, I think, and be like, "Oh, I'm
Yeah.
going to Paris for a year. You probably don't want to stay with someone who's not going to be around." Like that kind of shit,
Right.
like,
Right.
ugh.
Yeah. Yeah. He made it seem like, like he was doing her a favor. Like, he kind of put it the hand in, like, yo, that was like, he like kind of gaslit her this whole episode, because low key, even
Mm-hmm.
doing that move, like putting the breakup in her hands, like now he can come back and be like, well, you broke up with me. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
did she have a choice, my guy?
Yeah, you were going to go
To
overseas for
Yeah, to
a
another
year.
country. You're not like It's not like you were going to like Boston.
Mm-hmm.
She could
Yeah.
drive to Boston.
Yeah, take a
You
train.
went to another country. Yeah,
Yeah.
even if he was like, "Oh, I'll be in Canada," she can take a train up to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
It's right there. You know, you went to straight up. You're going to Paris. That's a whole nother continent, my guy.
Yeah.
And you thought it was what? And my thing is too is like, what did he think? Like, I just wonder. I mean, I guess maybe he did it, but like, I feel like part of him had to have thought a little bit about like how she would react
Mm-hmm.
to him telling her that. You know what I mean? I feel like he's a grown ass man. There's no
Yeah.
way he just was like, and it obviously this wasn't like an impulse. He's not just like, hey, I feel like I want to go to Paris. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you probably knew for a while that, at least for a few weeks, I'm sure whatever your business
Business.
is, and who your business partners are, your firm or whatever you do for
Mm-hmm.
work, like there's probably a discussion leading up to the potential
Yeah.
you might have to leave. So what were you doing?
Yeah.
What were you doing in those weeks? While she's
Those.
thinking that they said,
Yeah.
you guys are giving each other keys to your apartment and sleeping
Mm-hmm.
over and
Yeah.
things of this nature, like, giving each other toothbrushes, and like in those weeks you were just like, I can't wait to get rid of this bitch. Like,
Yeah. Be like, that stereotypical French music's playing in your head the whole time. I don't know. The accordion and everything.
Jesus, at least, like, at the very least, at least be a man about it. Be like, look, I might
Yeah.
have to go to Paris for a year. We can put our relationship on hold and
Mm-hmm.
see what happens when I get back, or something. Like, just be a
Yeah.
man about it. Don't just like, hey, stop being crazy.
Yeah.
Although I will say though, she did fuck up a little bit. Here's the thing: he forced her hand,
Mm-hmm.
but I will say she did fuck up a little bit by calling him at
With
5
that drunk
a.m.
phone call.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
drunk call anybody. Period. Like, that's not how you discuss anything serious like
No.
that in a relationship.
It's
You don't
like
drunk dial anyone.
Yeah, she has so much to get off her chest,
Yes.
and is trying her best to like not let it, you know, she knew she needed to get it out, but like didn't know how. But then when she was drunk, she was like, "It's fucking go time."
Yeah, right.
And was
And
ready
here's the
to.
thing: she wasn't wrong in anything she
None
said.
of, yeah, that's exactly the order. I was like, none of what she's
Yeah,
saying is wrong. This is just
not at
not the
all.
way to deliver it. And he is
Right.
wise to not to have refused to engage with her
Yeah,
while
but
she
at the
was
same
like
time,
that.
it was wise, but he was also being a coward.
He was being a coward, but
You know what I mean?
I will give him some credit for being like, this is not how we're gonna
Yes,
solve
not
any of
discussion because
this.
I mean,
Yeah.
literally, that's I mean, honestly, to be honest with you, like that was very much smart on him because like that's basically the last girl that I was with that broke up with me. She basically broke up with me in like a drunken fit.
Oh
Like she
no.
called me
Yeah.
up all pissed off, like, "Where's our relationship going? Where are we gonna do? Like, what's going on? Blah blah." Like just was having a complete meltdown and then broke it off.
Yeah.
So I totally respect him for having that restraint because I was trying to do the same thing. I was like, can we talk about this when we're in
Yeah.
person? You're in another state right now. You're drunk. You're feeling emotional. This is not the way to do it. And she just wouldn't do, it's like let it go. So we ended up breaking up, obviously. So
Yeah.
I understand that. So yeah, that's that. In that regard, she shouldn't have been calling him up drunk and inebriated and angry. But also, again, he kind of forced her hand in that matter because
Yeah.
he wasn't it. He seemed like he wasn't down to talk about it or
Yeah.
even try to discuss it. So it's like, what are you supposed to do with that? You know what I mean?
And Carrie has enough clarity to after the fact when she's talking with Charlotte and Miranda being like, I fucked that up. I shouldn't have drunk called him. And that's where she was coming around to like, you know what, it is work. We can, do long distance. Did she,
Absolutely. Yeah.
like the morning after Clarity or, a couple days after. But then she
Yeah.
shows up to his place with the McDonald's and that French fry, haha. And she's apologizing for the behavior, but then
Super cute.
so cute
I
that
hated that. Super
that,
cute. No, super cute what she did. Like,
yeah.
first of all, any like as a man, if a woman showed up with McDonald's, that's a good sorry. That's a pretty
Yeah.
good apology for her actions or whatever. However, I was mad at her for apologizing because truly she didn't have anything to apologize for
That's
because
true.
again, he made the bigger mistake. Like the only thing that she really did that was like slightly like she could have bought him a fillet of fish and that's it because she did call him at 5 a.m. Other than that, they had no reason to apologize for that dude. She had nothing to apologize.
You know what she should have like? What I'm glad she did bring though, the McDonald's Coke, because that shit's on a different level. It's so good.
And you know what too? And that shit stained. She should have threw that against his wall instead of that fillet of fish.
I've seen.
Really would have known.
My friend mentioned it offhand. She's like, "Can we go to McDonald's one time?" She's like, that Coke just is so fucking good at McDonald's. I don't know what they do different." And I didn't realize it until she kind of said it, and I was like, God, it is good. And then I started to see like memes everywhere of like that McDonald's Coke.
I don't know. Because I've had Coke before. Like you can buy Coca-Cola or whatever in the bottle. It does not taste the same as McDonald's Coca-Cola. It's something else. They put like a little dab of heroin or something in it.
Something about the way the bubbles are.
Yeah,
so good. Anyway,
it's like crisper too.
Yeah,
like
that's what it's
to it.
Yeah,
it's something. Yeah, it's like I don't know.
Because someone else
put more bubbles in it.
Yeah, someone else has said McDonald's Sprite is like that, and that's true too. Like McDonald's Sprite is really
absolutely,
good.
Absolutely.
I saw someone joke like that's what killed Prince Philip. It was too spicy for him. He couldn't handle the McDonald's Sprite.
Y'all, internet ain't shit. Y'all ain't shit.
But you know what? Big doesn't deserve a McDonald's Coke, and she had every right to throw the damn food at him because, I agree. It does suck that she apologized, but he's done this to her so many times that she gets backed into a weird corner, lashes out, and he's like, whoa, you're acting crazy. And she's like, you're right, I am. I'm sorry. And so that's what was about to happen again here, but he's done it too many times now, and she's like, fuck you, man. Like, I'm sick of your shit.
Well, it's also too I gotta give her props too because towards the end of the relationship she realizes, or towards the end of the episode, she realizes that like they're not gonna work and that their whole relationship is toxic as fuck.
Yeah.
It's super toxic. There's no reason for them to be together other than like they have some kind of weird obsession with like pain and like hurting other people or being hurt by people.
Yeah, which was on theme.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Super on theme. Yeah, super on theme. So like it was
cool. People do get addicted to those toxic relationships.
I think so.
Where they're like, oh, I know this is bad for me and all these horrible things happen, but I just, when it's good, it's so good, I don't care. I was that's what I've alluded to with the one guy who kind of like led me on. I let myself get led on, but I couldn't stop. I was like, oh, it's so unattainable. As she mentions about Big later too. It's so
Yes, yes, yes,
unattainable
yes.
that you want it, and part of the glee of unattainability is like in theory you won't really get hurt, but that's almost more with like, I don't know, a celebrity or
Yeah,
something. Like you'll never get hurt by just
right,
having like crushes on celebrities, but this was a
right,
scenario where the unattainable person was in real life in my
right,
office, frankly.
right.
um and it did hurt because it was too
Yeah,
close.
yeah, 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 yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like that's the thing too. Is like at some point you do get hurt because then
Yeah.
you kind of realize like she did, like how much time you wasted and like
Hmm.
in the places where you were trying to fight so hard. It's like was it even really worth the fight,
Yeah.
or did you just like the idea of like I feel like they're both in this mode at least right now where they just more or less like the idea of each other than actually liking each other
Right. Yeah.
because she's like trying to push like get to like the postcard sending invitations wedding
Hmm.
life, and he just likes the idea that like he has a person around.
Yeah. And this
That's
like
it.
kind of younger, quirkier woman.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I think low key he's like turned on by like her flipping out
Yeah.
by things that he
It's
does. You know what I
the,
mean? I think he kind of like likes that, like feeds its
she
ego a little bit. I think.
yeah, he can kind of goad her into these
Hmm.
flip outs, and then he can be like, "Oh, you're acting crazy," you
Yeah, you're
know.
acting crazy. Yeah, look at you. Yeah, but it's like, but it feeds his ego because it's like not only is she acting crazy, he's like she's acting crazy for me. You know what I mean?
About, yeah, and
That's
about
yeah,
me.
it's about me. It's about me. That's why she's
Yeah.
acting so wild. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So
Yeah.
it's really fucked up. He lost a lot of cool points in this
Hmm.
episode. A lot.
And it's even
Like I'm almost back to like how I felt about him square one, and you know
yeah,
how
yeah,
that was.
yeah. I think that's a lot of people got to this point with him because yeah, he like
Yeah.
it's she even offers like to move with him, and he's like, well, don't move for me, which is a fair point. Don't move for someone
No,
other than
it's not fair
yourself.
because no, it's
But
not fair
and not in
because
this scenario.
in this yeah in general yes, like if I told somebody hey I'm going to Paris, they're like oh I want to come with you, and I'm like why, but like you're in a
Hmm.
romantic relationship,
Yeah.
there's like there's y'all been together for at least a year or more, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, like that. Why the fuck else would she move to Paris?
Right.
You know
Because
that she's a writer. What else would she move to Paris for? Don't say no shit like that. Like
yeah.
that was almost insulting. He was like almost talking down to her when he
Yeah.
said it.
And it's like
You know what I'm
another way
saying?
for him to be like, we're not really a couple. Because if they were a
I mean,
real
that's kind of what he
couple,
said.
they would
Yeah, that's
move
kind of what he
together.
was implying.
Yeah.
That's little key what he was implying. Like, look, this ain't a real thing, so maybe don't uproot your whole life to come and
Exactly.
be with me because
Yeah.
you're just gonna be stuck in Paris when I break up with you in
Yeah.
probably like another month because I'm like have like weird intimacy issues. Because he did
Hmm.
admit that when they were having the argument after
Yeah.
she threw the McDonald's at him, like he did admit that like he had some hangups about like his past relationships and
Hmm.
probably his divorce and shit like that. But again, though, that's not an excuse. Go
Yeah.
get some fucking therapy. Be a grown ass man. Go see a
Thank
therapist
you.
and fucking work your issues out, dick.
Go get some therapy.
Instead of torturing this woman, like, yes, she might be a
Hmm.
little crazy, but she doesn't deserve torture.
No, no one does. Yeah. And it's funny that she admits though to being so addicted to the pain of this like
Yeah,
toxic relationship, but then
yeah,
finally realizing she's got to kind of break the cycle with it. She can't keep
absolutely. No,
doing
you
this
can't.
to herself.
No, she'll drive herself crazy, and she'll drive him
Yeah.
crazy, and ultimately they break up anyway. Especially if he,
Hmm.
because if it's keep this back and forth between them anyway, like, I'm surprised they even made it this long.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's yeah, it's crazy. Anyway,
Yeah.
well,
Oh, you know who we almost forgot? Stanford.
yeah,
I'm so happy Stanford got a little plot line. He doesn't get a
yes.
lot,
At
um,
all,
ever.
rarely, like ever. He's at this is like what his second plot line. I think the first one was like uh getting dissed by the guy because he didn't like bald men or whatever, or
Yeah.
he wanted him to look like
Ed
Ed
Harris,
Harris.
the Ed Harris debate. um, what do you call it?
Ed Harris
The
the hottie.
he, but this was interesting because this was a little highlight of the era where he goes into like chat rooms and stuff for the
Oh man.
like cyber sex. And his
Yes.
username is so funny. It's Rick plus 9, and then there's Big Tool for you. And I know they're giggling about it in the episode, but I'm like, this is such a great time capsule because everybody's screen name in
Was something
1999
like it was like
was
something
fucking
sexual.
stupid.
It was like either it was like really silly or like dumb sexual. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It was like little
I
clever, like
oh my friend.
big dick Rick. You're like, why?
Yeah.
Why? Get out of here.
My friend sent me a great like meme thing where it was like, what was your AOL name in like 1999? I was like Surfer Girl, GURRLLL, like 42069, and it's like, were you a surfer? No. Did you even live in California? No. Now I'm in Oklahoma. Yeah, like. Did you have a dumb screen name?
I probably did. There's a great chance that I did. I don't remember any of my stream names, but I'm pretty sure I probably had something like that. Oh, I did. I remember I had one time because I was obsessed with this like martial arts group that would like do like put on like videos online
yeah.
of like some of their like their tricks that they would do, like martial arts tricks. So I remember one of my screen name was like Shaolin Groover, but instead of Shaolin, I spelled it with an X, so it was like Shaolin Groover. But instead of Groover, it was like GURVER. Like, yeah.
I fucking miss AIM.
I thought I was so cool.
You guys, I miss AIM. I really do. I love the away messages. The whole all the chat features are so good.
You know what?
I didn't have like a stupid one, but it didn't make any fucking sense either.
Yeah.
Because the day I picked it, when my dad was setting it up, I had just watched Mission Impossible, the first one, and I picked. He was saying like the what is it? Like Alpha. What are those call letters? That military use, like Alpha.
Oh, Alpha leader.
Yeah, something like that. And anyway, he was saying something, and I picked Echo Bravo 5. Whoa, it has nothing to do with me. We're not a military family. He was saying it into
understood it if you said like Echo Sierra, because Elizabeth Stanton.
Oh right, I fucked up. I didn't have a B. Yeah, fuck.
No B. If you just said Echo Sierra, that would have worked. It would have worked.
And my dad just kind of asked out of the blue because he was setting up AOL like in our computer office room thing, and I was like, oh man, I fucking love Mission Impossible. It's 1996. And I just picked this random name that I had for years. I like never bothered to change it, and like everybody I knew had like equally dumb but like at least semi-relevant to like passing interests.
Yes.
And I had this like fucking random name. And then I have like a dumb Yahoo email name that's like based on my like a family nickname of mine, but I'm not gonna say it for security purposes.
That's not but at least that's
at least that one makes sense.
Not as that makes a little more sense than just
like
random military phonetic alphabet.
Yeah. Doesn't make any fucking sense. So stupid.
But here's the thing.
But everybody had a terrible one. No one had
did.
a good screen name because no one thought about it. Yeah, like
absolutely.
People were like Jungle Cat, 45. It's like they're like, oh, I don't even like cats. Like, what? Why'd you pick that name?
Exactly.
But anyway.
None of us were that clever. You know what I miss about the AIM chat the most, which is like really insignificant? The door slamming sound when someone would leave.
Yeah.
To let you know they were gone. It was like the hang up button. Like when you were pissed off at somebody, you're like, I'm fucking out of here, and you like fucking log off and say, you're like, yeah.
And you could be confident that they left, so you can be like, I'm talking shit about them now. Get the fuck out.
Also,
of here.
too, yeah. Yeah, because there were no screenshots, like the chat, whatever the chat windows, like you couldn't save chats or nothing like that. So once the chat window was closed, that's it.
Gone, baby, gone.
That was it. So you could talk all the shit, close it out.
Yeah, I also lived for the door opening where you're like, oh shit, my friend is here.
Yeah.
Like,
your friend's here.
So Stanford meets someone in the chat room and is gonna meet up with them at this like underwear only bar. But then I like that he doesn't even find a big tool for you in the bar. He just finds another guy and they kind of hit it off.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's nice too.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't decide if that was sort of like their way of dissing like chat rooms because online dating wasn't really even quite well. I should say I don't think online dating was a thing in like the straight community. I think it might have been more of a thing back then for the LGBTQ plus community, like because they still.
I think it's possible.
A lot of
because
it's still you couldn't really do some of that dating openly, which sucks at the time, but it was still very like oh no, and whatnot.
Yeah,
so.
no, that actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I feel like
makes a lot of sense. I feel like they probably were doing that. Yeah.
I feel like I've read that somewhere. So if I'm listeners, if I'm wrong, let me know.
They ain't.
So far, we've been 100% right. No one has sent us any corrections that I know of. So hooray!
They ain't got time for us. They ain't got time to be telling us that we wrong. Somebody might one day if we get big enough.
That's what you want, though. You want someone to
true. The comments
hit you with the actually blah blah blah.
Actually,
so yeah.
In retrospect.
But it's not, like I said, it's nice that Stanford gets a little thing because for as much of a show that is like, oh, we love the gays, and it doesn't really love the gays. Like,
well, also, I was happy for him too because he was all intimidated because he was worried about he's the guy that he was talking with online was like had this like fit body and stuff like that, like allegedly. But here's the thing, because that's what Carrie said to him. She was like, "Look, you aren't 9+ inches, so he probably don't have a washboard abs, but he kind of got the washboard abs at the end because that guy that came up to talk to him was very like fit and chiseled and shit like that, and so it was like he got what he wanted without getting what he wanted."
And you know what? Those undies on Stanford,
not bad.
Not bad. He was not. He might not have been 9+, but he wasn't. Wasn't exactly
he might be a 7+. Yeah, he might have been like a 7+. He might embellish a little bit. It's like a 7+.
There's something going on downstairs. I was like.
Also, too, as a guy, looking at those briefs, they looked hella comfortable.
I know.
I was jealous. I was like, damn, I wouldn't have wore my good shit to this bar. Like I don't wear like the basic. Like I would have went to the store and bought like some basic ass briefs. I wouldn't have gone with the good shit, but. Stanford's he's a classy guy. Do your thing.
The underwear are apparently French, according to him.
Yes, what he said. They looked French. They looked very nice.
They did. They looked like not just cotton.
Right. Yeah. Like a little extra work went into making those undies for sure. Hell yeah. Cool. So, episode 12. We did it.
In the books, we did it.
Well, not our episode 12. Episode 12 of
the show, the series.
Yes. So, now, Elizabeth, tell the people where they can find us.
They can find us most easily if you go to Instagram at Show Me What Podcast, and there's like the link tree, and you can get to our Twitter and our Facebook and all that fun stuff.
Yes.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Elizabeth Movies. Christopher, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram or Twitter at Mack Diddy Combs, MackDiddyCombs. And also when you're looking me up, be sure to come check out, my shows. I'm doing stand-up now, doing live.
Yeah, nonstop. A lot of dates.
Nonstop, baby. Let's go. I'm doing, I have a show August 11th. I don't know when we air this, but I have a show August 11th at Ha Ha Comedy Club at 8 p.m. Go online, get tickets. Right now, it's going to be a hoot and a half, and I'm going to have fun being that hoot.
All right. And are we still doing candles, or is that on hold?
Yes, we do, but I don't have my candles right now. But we are doing, make sure to go to Arlo Australia on Instagram, ARLO_Australia. Get yourself some candles. Mention our name, and you'll have, or use a promo code SHOWMEMISS, and you get 10% off of all products. She has 4-ounce candles, 8-ounce candles, 10-ounce, 25. She has reed diffusers if you're not, comfortable with that. And then she's also going to be launching some scented oils for massage.
Ooh, speaking of kinky.
So, be on the lookout. Arlo Australia on Instagram, ARLO_Australia. Use our promo code SHOWMEMISS, get 10% off. Don't forget that. Cool.
And that's it for us. We will see you next time.
Sweet.